champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing into this. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title.
The SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
The 1-0. In the air, right center field. Bronx on the move. Won't get there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep 3. Come on now. And Dalton Gannett. Probably Draghi this time. Indeed. Bad two-hand jam. Booker. Down the middle. Got it on the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
How much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, college football at its absolute best.
It's college athletics at its absolute best, man. Welcome into another episode of the Vol Fanatics Show. I am Michael with my co-host Skylar. Skylar, how are we doing today? Day after an unfortunate loss to Georgia, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to sleep on it. Surprisingly not doing as bad as maybe folks would think. Look, we went into a hostile environment in Georgia, and you got what you got. And kudos to the team. They came out swinging. I mean, went into halftime tied at 17, but overall couldn't get it done. But honestly, I'm feeling okay. Of course, I'd have liked it to stay within single digits so that we could technically cover, but also make it look competitive because I know a lot of people in that committee don't actually watch the game. However, the folks that watched that game know what happened. It was a great game. Kudos to Georgia for coming out. But, man, I'm feeling okay, and I think we can grow from here, and I think we still have a good shot of getting in that 12-team playoff. What say you?
I completely agree with you. You know, in the moment after the game, I was really frustrated, especially with some of the events that happened in the game. But you know, after, like you said, after sleeping on it, rewatched the game, I'm satisfied with the way Tennessee played. Is there still improvements to be made? Absolutely.
Sure.
But Tennessee did not play that bad during the game. But we're going to talk all about it here coming up. But before we get into a lot of details, Skylar, do you want to give us our official show sponsor?
Yeah, man. Our official show sponsor is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company, so he started an agency of his own, where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today. Give him a call at 865-272-3387. Guys, look, insurance, all right, is something you probably don't think about. You think it's just a monthly expense. You try to get the cheapest deal you can get, and go for it. But Chris Smith is one of those guys that not only does he make sure that you're properly covered, when things do go south, he's the guy that's going to show up at your doorstep and help you through every step of the way of the claim. That's the kind of guy I want on my team, and that's who I recommend. Thank you so much, Chris, for your continued support of the show. And he supports the show, guys. Come on. Give him a call. Get a quote, man. Thank you, Chris. I guess segment 1 is going to be about recapping this game and what was a dark mode game for the fans, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought the team was actually going to wear dark, but either way, we went into Athens at night, and we got all of it, got every bit of it. The crowd was awesome. But before we get into it, would you like to give us our segment 1 sponsor?
I will do it, and that segment 1 sponsor, it is Optimal Asbestos Services, your trusted environmental consulting firm. Yes, that's correct. Sorry, I had the wrong script pulled up. Your trusted environmental consulting firm in Knoxville, Tennessee, state licensed and insured. We specialize in asbestos air quality management for commercial buildings and homes. You can contact Jeff Mull at 865-223-3297 or on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com.
Tennessee Football 247 says it's sad to be. No, it's not, man. Come on. It was a good game. Hunter, thank you so much. First timer, I think, on the YouTube. Says, kudos to Tennessee for showing toughness and grit. Vols have made me nervous all season. They caught Georgia at a bad time. That's exactly what we were talking about in the pre-show. Yeah. I mean, just Ole Miss, thank you so much. Of course, if Lane Kiffin could screw Tennessee anymore, he would do it 100%. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about this game. Where do you want to start it out at?
Let's start off with just the hot start that Tennessee had, because, we have not seen Tennessee get off to a good start in a football game in quite some time. And that even includes last week against Mississippi State. But Tennessee, they put up 17 first half points, 10 of them in the first quarter. I mean,
right
just
on.
Forced Georgia to go 3 and out to start the game.
That was awesome.
And then took the ball right down the field. And then what about Josh Heupel? As soon as they get down to the 1 yard line, calling timeout, putting Jackson Moy in the game, and then handing off to Miles Kisselman, something we hadn't seen since 22 with Princeton Fant, man. Just hand off to the fullback, and Kisselman just diving over that offensive line into the end zone. And that's when everything started feeling good. We were still feeling good even up to halftime, and it was tied at 17. But second half was a little bit different story. But it was a very good first half. I'll say that, and it was promising going forward, seeing that Tennessee can drive down the field starting the game and doesn't have to be that second half comeback team.
Sure. Nicole, another first timer on the YouTube. Thank you so much. She said, winning on the road in the SEC is hard. I think we played great. Hate that we didn't get any pressure on Beck. I think that's a big topic. I think that's something that we could absolutely talk about. I don't know what was going on with Tim Banks and that defense, but yeah, it just didn't seem like we could generate anything. It didn't seem like that we were trying either. You look at Georgia's defense, and they were rushing 5, 6, 7 people every play, but for some reason we tended to. I mean, we stay with 4. I mean, I don't understand that whatsoever. Tennessee football 247. Man, I just wish we could get over the hump. I agree with that 100%. This is kind of like Heupel's last hump too. I mean, technically Heupel has a winning record over Florida and Alabama because we're undefeated against those teams at home under Heupel. However, Georgia still standing there, still kind of owns Heupel and this Tennessee program. It's me, a beloved Alabama fan, said, let us down. SEC championship is a death penalty. Yeah, something about that. Nicole said, we weren't making adjustments. You think maybe there's some mistrust somewhere? No, I don't think it's that. I think you ran into a good Georgia team that was having a pretty daggum good night.
And look, I was going to say, we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show, just me and you off air there. I think it's just the opposite. I don't think there's mistrust anywhere. I think that Tim Banks trusts his defensive line to get home with 4. And his defensive line has done that all season long. Against an offensive line that's been struggling. I mean, gave up 5 sacks against Ole Miss. Yes, and that's an offensive line that absolutely had the game of their lives. They have not played that well all season long and did not allow Carson Beck to get hit one time in the game. So credit to them. But I think Tim Banks trusts his defensive line so much that he thought that they could get home with 4. Now, I do feel like they probably should have changed some things up, maybe brought a 5th or a 6th guy. But then again, the way Carson Beck was throwing the ball during the game, it might have backfired against Tim Banks. So I think that the game plan was good from Tim Banks' defense. I just think that Georgia played a better game overall when it comes to Carson Beck, when it comes to the offensive line. And the receivers for Georgia have had drops all season, but there wasn't as many last night as there have been. So
they still had a couple, but yeah,
they did. I give full credit to Georgia, though. I think Tennessee's game plan was good. Georgia just executed.
Well, Tennessee did what they had to, right? In the first half, they came out, scored 10 points in the first quarter, and looked pretty freaking good. I mean, they looked like they were a top 10, top 5 team in the nation. When you get to 3 and out on Georgia, you go down and score, and then you turn around and get another 3 and out on Georgia. Yep. I'm like, that's the best start you could have. You started out 10-0. You quietened that crowd because it kind of, for a moment there, Georgia fans were, and they can admit that they weren't, and that's fine because they won't, but they were really starting to doubt it. Like, they were like, what the crap? Beck's not it. This offense is trash. Bobo's garbage. But I'll tell you what the turning point in this game was. The turning point in this game was the very last play of the first quarter when they did a hard count, and our best player on defense, James Pierce Jr., jumped. Offsides, free play. If it weren't for that free play, credit to Carson Beck for knowing that he had the free play. Takes a shot down the field. Not only did they connect, we looked like we had never played tackle football in our life after he makes the catch. And that flipped the entire momentum of this game. And Not too long after, Joshua Josephs does the same thing. And not only did he jump off sides, they connected again for a 30-plus yard pass. That flipped the script for this Georgia team. And because of those two plays alone, Carson Beck started feeling it. And my God, did he play lights out. He played really good. This is the Carson Beck that we thought we would see all season long. But, man, has he regressed? And I'm tired of saying that he regressed because his team's been letting him down. No, because he was shorthanded tonight more than he has been all season long. And yet he still found a way, really carried this team on his back, scrambled, which we've not seen him do. No, I think Carson Beck had the best game probably in his career. Won't say it on the stat sheet, but Tennessee didn't make adjustments, offensively or defensively. And the reason why I say that is because we came out in the second half, felt really good about scoring that touchdown there late in the half with Dylan Sampson. I love that he got to do that touchdown celebration. If y'all watched the story on that, please do. I thought that was really cool. But then letting Georgia go back down the field with a minute and a half and get a field goal there kind of just flattened our tires a little bit. Kind of was deflating for sure. But either way, Hunter on the YouTube, the lack of pressure on Beck is what made him look great last night. As a Dog fan, I can't stand Beck. There is a reason he sat behind Stetson Bennett for 2 years. He sat behind Stetson Bennett because he won 2 natties, bro. Come on now. Yeah, I mean, that's my initial thoughts. Tennessee, offensively, you could tell they came out with a plan. They executed it up until the second half. I got to give credit to Georgia's defense. They are the definition of bend, don't break. And the reason why I say that, in that second half, we were still moving the ball. But it's like the moment we got to midfield or into their territory, they locked down. And we couldn't seem to generate any. I mean, we were going on 11, 12, 13 play drives that were only going 35 to 40 yards and then having to punt it off. I mean, that right there, that is deflating. I mean, I hate to use that word again, but it just really, I mean, you get back to the sideline, realize you were on the field for 5, 6, 7 minutes, and you came away with nothing. That's tough. I think the Tennessee team will learn from it, but overall, I'm super happy for Dylan Sampson, even in a bad game, I guess. Still had 19 rushes, 101 yards, a touchdown. Still ran really well, over 5 yards a carry. But, yeah, overall, 2 touchdown losses, how everybody's going to view it. I think this game was a lot closer, and I think most Georgia fans would say the same. You just went into Georgia, Athens at night, and you got what you got, and you got punched, and you didn't get back up. We'll learn from it. It just puts a lot of pressure on that Vanderbilt game coming up.
Yeah, it does. Listen, let's talk a little bit about Nico, because obviously the talk of the game was, is Nico going to play? Is he going to play? Is he going to be gassed in? Is he going to be ready to play? Nico had a very good game, and he was an absolute warrior out there. I mean, he wasn't afraid to get hit. He was putting his shoulder down, trying to fight for extra yards on a couple of runs. He got popped once, and I was thinking, okay, that's it right there. He's back out, Gaston's in, but no, he came right back out on the field like nothing had happened. He was hitting his targets for the most part. There was a couple of misses, but he didn't put the ball in harm's way. The fumble there at the end, I mean,
he's trying to make a play.
Exactly. That
was desperation mode.
Yes.
I mean, I'll actually stand by that. Yeah, Nico going into that hostile environment as a redshirt freshman, first time really ever seeing something like that or playing.
He looked in control.
He did operate the offense very well. And here's another thing I'll say. Other than Lance Hurd once, I think, and it was because the defensive line did that stupid shift. We did a pretty good job of not false starting a bunch. I thought that was going to be a problem going into this game. I thought we would have like freaking 5 or 6 false start penalties. Overall, that I think we only had like 1 or 2. I mean,
I think it was just 1. And I was talking with my buddy Adam right after it happened. It was literally I think like you said, it was Lance Hurd. He moved a half second before that ball was snapped. It wasn't.
Well, he's seen. So when Georgia now, see, they keep changing how they do it, and credit to their defense of staff for doing this. But you know how Georgia, and they've done this for 5, 6, 7 years, where they shift on the first cadence, they shift, and they been staying low when they shifted. Well, that play in particular, the defensive lineman kind of jumps up and over, almost like he was firing off the ball. which got Lance Hurd to jump. I mean, credit to them. I mean, they played that very well. Lance Hurd's got to stay down on that. But yeah, Nicole, she said, I thought Nico did a great job. I think he did too. Now, obviously, stats won't really back him up on that because he didn't have a passing touchdown or anything like that. But overall, a redshirt freshman going into probably the toughest environment, one of the toughest environments you'll face. I still think Neyland's one of the toughest in the nation. But I think he handled it very well. Thought he showed some grit. I just hate that we didn't get our wide receivers involved, man. I mean, I understand he got 20 completions, but it was, tight ends. He'd hit the check down, which was awesome. I love to see that. Squirrel White balling. But why didn't we get the ball to Brew a little bit more? Why didn't we take a couple more deep shots? I understand Georgia's defense was playing the way they were playing, but man, I'd have loved to see Brew in that screen game or the slant game just a little bit more. And you could see when Nico had to scramble, he kept taking his eyes down instead of staying looking down the field, which I understand. There were so many opportunities missed in that game. They were showing the aerial, like quarterback view of the plays, and so many times we'd have somebody right down the middle of the field just wide open. But it's like Nico was either looking for the deep shot or just looking to run. He'll learn. Film will come out. He'll watch it. He'll learn from that. But the opportunities were there. We just didn't capitalize.
Yep, I completely agree. And you talking about Brew there. Every time that a big fourth down or a big third down would happen, I immediately said, all right, where's Brew? Where's Dylan?
Sure.
Those are the two guys we need to get the ball to. And there's one third down in particular I could think of. I believe it was a 3rd down and 5. Nico threw a slant over the middle to Squirrel. He threw it high. Almost like he was trying to throw it to, or almost like he thought he was throwing it to a Dante or a Brew, one of those taller receivers. When you look on the other side, Brew is mirroring Squirrel White and has got 2 steps on his defender open. And if Nico hits him on that one, that turns out to be the big play that Tennessee probably needs if you hit that. I completely agree. Brew needs to be more involved, and I've been saying it all year. Brew is your best receiver. He is the second best player on the field behind Dylan Sampson, and you've got to find a way to get him involved.
Yeah, I think he only had like 2 catches, if that. I mean, we got to do better. Actually, hang on. I have the stats right here. Brew had 4 catches for 38 yards. Just gotta get him the ball a little bit more. But overall, it is what it is, man. Just a tough road environment. I am glad that we came out strong in the first half because I didn't think that we would be able to go into half with 0 or 7 points and have a chance in this game. It proved that even going into half at 17 wasn't even close, really, because they came out in the second half and really controlled Tennessee. Like I said, the bend don't break. Offense really couldn't get in rhythm in that second half. Georgia did just enough, really. This is another one of those games where I think the game was a little bit closer than a 14-point game. But overall, Georgia kind of kept us at arm's length again, just not letting us really become a threat there in that second half. We'll learn from it. The offense still struggling. The defense, I still think, is a great defense. We had a bad game. The secondary kind of got roughed up a little bit.
Would you not say, though, that this was the first real test that the secondary has had this season? Because we said Alabama was, and it was to some extent, but we still got pressure on Milroe in that game, which helped out our DBs. This was the first time that it was on our defensive backs to make sure that they were able to slow down the wide receivers or try to stop the receivers because we couldn't generate that pressure. And I think that they did a pretty dang good job yesterday compared to what we have seen from Tennessee defensive backs in the past. If we had last year's defensive backs on the field, Georgia puts up 40+ in that game.
Well, I think in this game particular, I'm going to get to some of the comments here in a second, but I think in this game particular, it didn't matter who was in secondary. When you're giving a guy 4 or 5 seconds to throw, he's going to find an opening at some point, and that's just what he was able to do. Nicole said that Nico did not let the sacks rattle him. I don't think he did. I think he stayed poised. Justin joins the show. What's up, Justin? Yeah, man, we got a lot of folks on YouTube. If y'all would, please, if y'all have not done so already, please subscribe to the show. That would be amazing. It's free, and it helps us out immensely. So thank you guys for joining us. Karen has liked the show on Facebook. Thank you so much. And Sean on Facebook has shared the show. Thank you so much, Sean. We appreciate you. I don't think Facebook comments are pulling up for us at all right now. So if you don't mind maybe pulling up a Facebook tab or something like that, that would be amazing, because I know we got folks commenting on Facebook. We are not ignoring you. It's just for some reason not showing up in our chat box right here. But we'll get it going. We'll get it going. Any last thoughts on this game? It's just hard. It's just a tale of two halves. I mean, or really tale of quarters. I mean, Tennessee had a great first quarter. The special teams was rocking. Defense was doing their thing. Offense obviously came out firing. I would like to see our defensive staff or coaching staff do something to where when we hit those lulls, that we can kind of snap back out of it. And I felt like we just couldn't get that done against Georgia. But at the end of the day, I hate to use the word expected. I really do. But is this not an expected outcome in this game? I mean, it would have been awesome if we could have won.
Look,
but I mean, we called it in the preseason. We called it in the preseason. We were going 10-2. I said that we would lose to Oklahoma and Georgia. It ended up being Arkansas, but virtually the same teams. If you look on everywhere, Michael's like the show. Thank you, Michael. I just felt like this was an expected outcome. We just got to take care of business now the rest of the way and give ourselves a chance. I hate that we put it in the committee's hands, but overall, I mean, especially after getting whooped by Ole Miss the way they did, it was hard. Kirby doesn't lose 2 in a row, man.
Yeah, and we did expect this to happen. Georgia is still a good team. They have had a gauntlet of a schedule this year.
100%.
Have they looked bad at times this year? Yes, they absolutely have. We've said it. Georgia played the game of their life yesterday, but we kind of figured that was going to happen. I mean, we said it 2 weeks, or I said it 2 weeks ago when you picked Ole Miss to beat Georgia. I said, I'm going to pick Georgia, and I think they'll win the game. I hope they win the game, because I don't want to go into Athens, Georgia, coming off of a loss to Ole Miss, because we're going to see a ticked-off Georgia team. And that's exactly what happened in that game.
Yeah.
They knew that a loss would absolutely eliminate them from the playoffs, and they came out and they played like their backs were against the wall. I mean, credit to Georgia. Tennessee just has to take care of business the way that they can the rest of the year and hope for some other things to happen. In the next segment, we're going to give a small UTEP preview, because there's not a lot to preview there. We're also going to talk a little bit about what needs to happen for Tennessee to make the playoffs, or what we think will happen there.
Well, one thing that's already happened is you've seen BYU take an L to Kansas, which I would think that would eliminate BYU, honestly. I know you probably say that's a little harsh on one loss. Yeah, but they lost to a 3-6 Kansas team. And the conference is not good. So a little bit of the way, I just don't know if the committee is going to put 5 SEC teams in, especially with the way they're heavily favoring the Big Ten right now. We'll talk about it. Is there any last things you want to get off your chest on this Georgia game? Again, my whole thoughts, James Pierce Jr. jumping off sides, giving them the free play, gave Beck exactly what he needed, flipped the entire script of this game. And I hate to kind of put it on one play, because, I mean, obviously there's things that we could have done differently, but that completely changed the momentum of this game, got the crowd right back in it. And it's something so simple. Like, I don't mind a defensive line group being aggressive and jumping off to get an early start if you're actually getting to the quarterback. And in this game, you wouldn't even come close. So, like, why are we jumping off so early when you're not even generating pressure as it is? Like, that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, because it's something so simple. Like, watch the freaking ball, man. You're on the road. You know they're going to be doing a hard snap count when you got a great defensive line. That play, those two, Joshua Josephs did it too. Those were absolute backstabbers. It hurts, and that's how the game got away from us. Allowed Georgia to kind of get ahead of themselves, and stayed ahead of ourselves. But overall, it is what it is. We haven't talked about the refs tonight because honestly, you can't control that. Don't care about it. So it is what it is. Georgia played immense. They played great. Honestly, Beck had the game that every Georgia fan's been waiting on, because I was really hoping as a Vol fan he would make a mistake early, and I wanted to hear the boo birds because I know they were ready to do it. But fortunate for him, he came out and he played every bit like a Heisman that we've been waiting to see him play like. And of course, it's only it only makes sense as a Tennessee fan that he makes his statement game against us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only thing before we move on that I will say about the refs, and you brought it up beforehand. When did we start allowing you to go back and review penalties to see if there was 12 men on the field?
Yeah, I think Nicole's kind of getting at that right here. I'm not going to speak a lot on it because, again, it's something we can't control. But on an actual 12th man on the field, I don't know everything there is about football, but I know a bit. There was no flag thrown. What are y'all's thoughts? Yeah, I don't know so there are some penalties that are reviewable. I've never known this one to be reviewable. Now, I'll start out by saying this. It was the right call.
It definitely was. It
was the right call. We were trying to take our time, which I thought we had time to do this because I've watched Ole Miss players literally walk off the field and they allot the time to them because Georgia substituted. Our guys were taking advantage of that. You've seen them literally jogging very calmly to the sideline, but the referee's like, screw it, we're letting them play the play. So you could see him running off the field. He was like one step on the field. It was absolutely 12 men on the field, but they never called it 12 men on the field. I've never seen a crew go back and review a penalty that wasn't even called to throw a pennoty.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
I did not think that you could go back and review and then call a penalty. The only one that I know of that you can do that is targeting, because you you say that it's targeting.
Targeting is absolutely reviewable. Yes, 100%.
You go back and you check just to make sure, but that's the only one I know of that you can actually go back and throw a penalty flag if it is absolutely targeting.
And I'm not bashing the call, because I know everybody's going to say that we're. I'm uneducated to know if that's a reviewable play or not. But other than that, it's a right call. So I'm not even. I'm more pissed off. Yep. I'm more pissed off at us jumping off sides to help them get some momentum going than I am about that 12 men on the call field. So it is what it is.
Yeah, because you said it. Those two plays, I'm going to list it as the two plays. There was two plays in that game that turned the tide, and it was. Both of them were the jumping off sides, but not just that. It was allowing the plays downfield on the free play, because if you just jump off sides and then you force an incompletion or make a good play back there, it's just a 5-yard penalty. Georgia gets to move up 5 yards, run another play. But both plays, it was 30-plus yard plays that you allowed to be executed, which pretty much wipes away that offsides, and it's just a big play downfield. Those were the turning points in the game.
Justin says intentional grounding they can also review.
Okay, yeah.
Then why didn't they review the one where Carson Beck threw it into the second Never mind. I'm not even going to see. I could do it. Chad on YouTube. Thank you so much, Chad. He said they used the incomplete pass to review the play. Then Georgia, Kirby Smart told the refs there was 12 men. I mean, that was the same play though. Like the play, I mean,
but
no, either way, it's fine.
Our question here is, should they be allowed to review that? I don't think that 12 men on the field
if it's
can
not
be
called.
reviewed. If
they called it 12 men, I don't think they were allowed to go back and review it. If that's the case, was it LSU Tennessee back in 2009, 2011?
Yeah, that was one of Dooley's first year, I think, when Tennessee beat LSU. They had 13 men on the field.
I ain't even talking about it. Never mind. Yeah. Anyways, it's fine. But yeah, guys, it is what it is. I just didn't know if that was a reviewable play. Even if they were to throw the penalty, I don't think Josh Heupel could then say, no, dude, he was off in time. Y'all got to review that. I don't think that's even a thing. I've never heard of that. I was cheering earlier, by the way. Some people were asking. Juwan Jennings just called a touchdown pass from Brock Purdy in the NFL game. So shout out to VFL Juwan Jennings, having a baller of a season. But anyways, last thoughts on this game before we kind of wrap it up, man. It's a tough one. You got Athens at night. You got a very hungry Georgia team and fan base, and they owned us. I mean, fair and square. It is what it is.
Yeah, they did. You just got to take this game right here, and you got to build upon it, because we both said Tennessee actually did not play bad in this game. Georgia just played better, and they beat you. But Tennessee played a good game. You got to build upon this. And you got to do what you can going forward to give yourself a shot at the playoffs. Take care of business.
100%. All right, man, let's wrap it up. Let's go on to segment 2 of this thing. And I closed out but I got it right here. Don't you worry one bit. I closed out my photos, but I got my segment 2 sponsor here, and it's P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Reach out to P&L Business Services by going online to pnlbusinessservices.com, and you'll be able to reach out to staff that way. They're based out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, as well as Chris Smith Insurance. And you can reach out to Connor or Miss Leanne, the 2 owners there, and they will get you taken care of, man. Thank you so much for your continued support of the show. And segment 2 is about previewing UTEP, which ain't going to take long. And then also kind of just looking at the standings, looking at the AP poll that came out at 2:30 today, seeing what's got to happen to give Tennessee a chance. I think Tennessee has a better chance losing that game than Georgia would have if they would have lost that game. But overall, we put it in the hands of the committee. But before that, UTEP.
Yeah, so UTEP is not a very good
senior
team.
night.
I'm just going to be frank about it. UTEP is not very good. They're kind of like Kent State as far as they're one of the worst teams in FBS this season. I'm going to pull up UTEP's record real quick.
Oh, look at that. Facebook comments are working.
Awesome. Let's see. UTEP is 2-8 on the season this year. 2-5 in conference play. They did get a win this past week against Kennesaw State, who is also one of the worst teams in FBS. And really crazy what's going on down there. We won't get into details, but Kennesaw State has got some issues going on with their program. But just some notable teams UTEP has played this year in Power 5. They played Nebraska in the first game of the season and got beat 40-7. They also played, let's see, that actually looks like the only Power 5 opponent, but they played MTSU a couple weeks ago and lost 20-13. Colorado State got beat 27-17 back earlier in the season, and the rest of their losses just frankly weren't really that close.
Yeah. Jamie on YouTube tunes in, says, couple games left in the season. Anything could happen. Roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in, brother. We really do appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely we'll see. Let's see. Chad says, agree, the refs were bad, but they didn't dictate the game. Vola just had no fight in them. Defense was lost. Got to fix things. Vols, I think, just had no fight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. Jamie says, Coach Hype can't make adjustments at halftime to help this team win. I think that's a false statement. We've seen him make adjustments in the second half all year long, to the point to where we were going into halftime, not scoring a single point, coming out of halftime, scoring 24 points on Bama or whatever. I mean, like I said, I don't think that's a fair statement. I just think, I think we did get out coached. I think Georgia just had a great game. Chad said, been a Vol fan my entire life, but nobody wants to see a team like Vols in the playoffs. Boring offense and play calling. And here lately, very, very poor defense. In my opinion, not worthy of the playoffs. I agree to an extent. Here's my thing.
Very, very poor defense. I would say
that's what I'm saying.
I would say the defense has still been good. Have teams maybe gotten some bigger plays on us lately? Yeah. But I wouldn't say that it's poor defense.
Yeah. I wouldn't, like, make sure we zoom out a little bit. That's why we sleep on it. That's why we started out the show if we got to sleep on it, because he even admits he's still a little mad. Trust me, I am too, brother. But you gotta zoom it out a little bit. You gotta see where Georgia was at. They were in wounded animal mode. They were desperate, a lot more desperate than we were. Obviously, we were hungry, but Georgia was just in a spot. They were do or die, and they came through in a big way. And you got to tip your hat to those guys. Our defense is still one of the best in the nation, man. It is what it is. I think you just got a little unlucky, but we gotta control the things that we can control, right? Got to finish the season strong and see what we can do, because I do think our resume stands out against several other teams. I don't think this is a national championship caliber team. That's fair to say, but I think we're worthy of a 12-team playoff, 100%. Now we got to finish the season the right way. But I think we're there. I think 100% we're there. Jamie says Tennessee played dead. Even with Georgia in the first half, Kirby made adjustments and dominated in the second half. Yeah, I think we're saying a lot of the same thing, guys. But UTEP.
Look, ultimately in this game, Tennessee has just got to stay healthy.
Is this not a let your starters play for a first half and then get healthy? And
I might even say first quarter.
I mean, this is definitely let's throw deep every play, right? A practice. Let's try to get the timing down on those routes, right? Let's try to, correct that. He's going to overthrow a couple because there's going to be a lot called, unlike the Georgia game where we only called like 2 or 3 maybe. Let's try to get the timing down on those routes. Let's get those guys out of there. I don't want another Brew situation happen where you get hurt against Akron and then it puts you out for the rest of the season. Obviously we're at the end of the season, but if we have a chance to make a playoff run, I don't want to get somebody hurt.
Yeah, you may Cedric Tillman.
Was it? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Brew was against South Carolina, but
you're 100% right. You're 100% right. I misspoke. Yeah, Cedric Tillman against Akron. Your wide receiver 1.
Yeah, look, here's what I want to see from this game. I want Nico to go out for the first quarter. I want him to play well, have a couple of touchdowns, and then I want to see him sitting on the bench by the time the second quarter starts. Get Gaston in there. Get Merklinger in the game. Let them get some reps because we've already seen that if Nico gets hurt, you're going to have to go to one of those guys. And it's probably going to be Gaston. He's just got more experience right now. Let him get some meaningful snaps. I know that UTEP is not a great team, but any kind of in-game snaps is only going to help him at this point. So I want to see Gaston get a lot of meaningful snaps in this game just in case. We've got to go to him for one reason or another because there could still be a lot of games left on this schedule. You've got UTEP, you've got Vanderbilt, and then you've got at least one more, whether it be a bowl game or whether it be a college football playoff game. And if it's the playoffs, it's at least one more. If you do well, you could play up to 3 more games. Yeah. So it could still be a long season. You got to make sure that you have a plan in case Nico gets hurt.
I mean, if Texas loses the next 2, there's still a chance that we make the SEC championship, but
exactly.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Chad said it's wild thinking how upset we are as Vol fans, and we're 8-2. The Hendon Hooker era spoiled us. You're absolutely right, man. I think it's even better than that. We're 8-2 in a redshirt freshman season. This kid's only going to get better with these type of environments, with this chance to get his toes wet and what it's like to play on the road in some tough environments. It's only going to go up from here. I love where the team's at, and I love the way our defense is playing. And did you notice that a lot of people that were making plays were freshmen?
Yes.
True freshmen. Look at Peyton Lewis and the way he ran last night. True freshman. Look at Boo Carter and what he's doing on the defense. True freshman. I mean,
special teams Boo Carter.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I'm just so excited about this, the way that this team's been able to recruit and also retain those recruits, but also picking up key pieces in the portal, not just taking in anybody in the portal, but the key pieces in the portal. I think that's a winning formula. I think we'll get there. Nicole said Gaston, I think, did good coming in the Mississippi State game. I mean, yeah, he did what a backup's supposed to do. Not going to put too much stock in it. Justin said we could very easily lose the last game, though. Yeah, dude, I'm not putting any stock in teams that have to travel. You're going into A&M. He's a Texas fan, by the way. He's going into Kyle Field, the 12th man. That's gonna be a tough game. And A&M's got a bunch of riled up hate towards Texas. So yeah, I mean that's another scenario in which it would throw everything in a fire pit. But A&M, I think A&M Texas is going to be for the SEC championship, in my opinion. One of those teams are getting in. And then it's going to be Georgia, Bama, or whatever. I don't know how that would have to work. It's not a foregone conclusion that Bama doesn't lose to Auburn. So,
I kind of want to talk a little bit about this, the playoff scenario here, stuff that needs to happen. So before we do that, what are your thoughts? What do you need to see from Tennessee against UTEP before we move into that talk?
Tennessee against UTEP, what I need to see versus what I want to see. I need to see our starters not even coming in the second half, period. I need to see the defense respond. I don't want this team to play really any plays in our territory. And yes, I'm kind of talking shutout. Like, I want to see a shutout. This defense needs to respond in a big way. I think they will. Limit the explosive plays. I don't know what's going on here lately, but we kind of been giving up some 20, 30-yard plays. None against UTEP. I don't want to see a single one. But lastly, I want to see touchdowns galore. I want to see Nico throw about 4 of them, and I want them to all be deep shots. I want to see him connecting on those deep routes, and should absolutely be able to see that against UTEP.
Yeah, I just want to see. I want to see the starters come in, get ahead early, get the backups in, and then stay healthy. That's what I want to see in this game.
100%.
I mean, plain and simple. All right, so playoff talk / SEC talk here.
Man, we haven't talked about playoffs this entire show. The history of the show, I don't feel like we've ever talked about playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know if we have, but
here we go. Let's get it going. I think it hurts us that we go live on Sundays and then they come out with the rankings on Tuesdays. So like, if it seems like our stuff is really outdated or really, but it's all good.
So SEC standings right now, these are teams that all have 2 losses or less. You've got Texas and Texas A&M. That will be a battle for the SEC title game. Both of them sitting at 5-1 in the conference. Texas is 9-1 overall. A&M is 8-2 overall. But I mean, A&M does have Auburn this week. I mean, is that anything? We'll get to that whenever we do our game predictions. I think they're going on the road. So, I mean, we've said it all season long. Going on the road in the SEC is hard, no matter who it is. I mean, Alabama went to Vanderbilt and lost.
That is fair.
Texas went to Vanderbilt, almost lost. We have 4 teams that have 2 losses in the conference. Georgia sitting at 6-2. They're 8-2 overall. Tennessee, 5-2 in the conference, 8-2 overall. Alabama, 4-2 in the conference, 8-2 overall. And Ole Miss, also 4-2 in the conference, 8-2 overall. Texas, the remaining schedule for them, it is Kentucky and it is Texas A&M. Texas A&M is Auburn and Texas. That's going to work itself out right there. One of those will get into the SEC title game. And for A&M, if you lose, that's probably your playoff eliminator, being your 3rd loss of the season. Tennessee has UTEP and Vanderbilt. Georgia, they're done in the SEC. They have, I believe, Wofford this week and then Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So they're done with conference games. Alabama has Oklahoma and Auburn. And then Ole Miss has Florida and Mississippi State. So it is a very good possibility that 5 teams can get into the playoffs. I'm kind of leaning towards you as far as I think only 4 get in, because when you go outside of the conference, the Big Ten has Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and Penn State all sitting at either 1 loss or no losses.
So bull crap.
Now, Indiana, Ohio State are playing this week.
Well, and Notre Dame. Like, can we talk about Notre Dame for just a second?
Notre Dame's
not that they deserve it, Chad. By the way, yeah, we're getting into it, brother, because it's gonna tick me off. Notre Dame loses to Northern Illinois, but because they win their schedule, I don't even know if they have a good win, and I say good, not great. I don't even know if they have a good win.
It's just maybe Texas A&M at the beginning of the year.
That's a good win.
That's their only good win.
That is a good win. I'll give them that one, mate. But anyways, so that and they're ranked number 6 in the AP, and they'll probably be there in the freaking CFP too. I just don't understand that one. Indiana, sure, they're undefeated. They haven't beaten any crazy teams, but they're undefeated. I'll give them that. But Penn State, look, you played one ranked opponent, one decent opponent. You lost it.
Yep.
You don't have any other opponents up there to kind of justify why you should be up there. All you can say is you lost a close game at home. You lost at home. Like, Ohio State losing to Oregon, I'll grant you that. But Oregon and Ohio State's only only teams on the schedule that are worth a darn or each other. Like, I just don't understand. Look at the Big Ten as a conference, just not even close. I mean, SEC at least has like 10, 11, 12, maybe 11 teams at 500 or above winning records. Big Ten ain't even close to that. I don't even think half the Big Ten has a winning record or 500.
Let's see.
Are you pulling it up right now?
All right, so are we talking about overall records or conference records?
Yes, because
right.
conference is going to be hard.
Okay, overall records, you've got Oregon sitting at 11-0, Indiana at 10-0, Ohio State, Penn State both at 9-1, and then that's when you fall off the table. You have
Fall off.
Iowa 6-4, so that makes 5. Minnesota 6-4, that's 6. Illinois 7-3, that's 7. Washington 6-5, 8. Rutgers 6-4, that's 9, and everybody else is either 500 or below.
So just okay. Well, I said 500, so never mind.
But look,
the GOAT always, it had to be the rest fault. Always is. No, actually, we haven't said that, not even once. But thank you for thank you, dude, for tuning in the show, man. It really does mean a lot as an Alabama fan joining the show. Just to drop a comment, man, we appreciate that. I wish more Tennessee fans would come in here just to drop a comment. That really helps us out, and we appreciate you tuning in, brother. Thank you so much. But yeah, the scenario. So 4 Big Ten teams.
4 Big Ten teams
probably getting in no matter what. Even if what if Indiana gets drilled this weekend?
All right, if Indiana gets drilled, then they're out. But all right, on the flip side, if Ohio State gets beat by Indiana, I think Ohio State's out. That would be their second loss.
100%. So so we need to be big Indiana, like big Indiana. The problem is you're not going to see a team drop from 2 to 12 unless they're Georgia.
Fair. I think it all depends on how the game goes. If Ohio State gets drilled by Indiana, absolutely, they're falling out.
No, the committee did this on purpose. The committee put 4 Big Ten teams in the top 5 on purpose because they knew that some of them still had to play each other. But if they were already high enough ranked, once they take that loss that they're inevitably going to have, they only have to drop 5 or 6, which keeps them in the top 12. They did this on purpose. They're trying to build a scenario to keep as many SEC teams out as possible. And, that's a little bit on SEC's fault for not winning and taking care of some games. I mean, everybody's kind of beating up a little bit of everybody. There's a lot of parity in the sport right now. I feel like, and it's no secret, the chair of the committee is the Michigan athletic director, who said Indiana had a good win over Michigan, who's 5-5 this year. I just, I mean, it is what it is.
All right, so we're kind of in agreement here that more than likely it's 4 Big Ten teams, because I think Ohio State's got a good shot of beating Indiana.
The problem is okay, if that's the truth, I think you're right. But let's get into it. If that's 4, that means they take 3 of the 6 at-large bids, correct?
Plus the conference title. Yes.
Well, there's only 6 at-large bids because there's 5. No, there's 7 at-large. There's 7 at-large.
Yeah, 7 at-large.
4 of your top conference winners, and then you have the 5th conference winner. So you have 5. You have 7 at-large. 3 are being taken by the Big Ten.
Yep. All right, so let's go to the ACC for a second. We'll just kind of look through it.
And the number 1 ranked at the moment is Miami. In the AP, ranked 11th. But they would probably take, let's just say this, they take one of the top 4. So that's not an at-large bid.
All right, so here's the ACC contenders as far as possibly getting into the playoffs. You've got SMU sitting at 9-1, overall 6-0 in the conference. Clemson, 8-2 overall, 7-1 in the conference, and Miami, 9-1 overall, 5-1 in the conference. I think that Clemson loses to South Carolina last game of the year, which knocks them out.
Clemson could lose to South Carolina, 100%.
Yes. Of course, the conference title winner will get in, so that's 1 ACC team. And if that's Miami, that is the only ACC team that's getting in.
Yeah.
I think. Now, if SMU wins, Miami has a shot. But once again, do they have any good wins?
Yeah.
That answer is no.
But I think here's my thing. If we're trying to argue that 5 SEC teams get in, that would mean no other conference gets an at-large bid, I think. because you would have 3 at large for the Big Ten. You would have 4. That's 7.
Yeah.
You would have 4 at large for the SEC. So you would have to root against the second and third place teams in the other conferences. There's no wiggle room. None.
Yeah. So we're saying what, at most 2 ACC get in at most.
At most.
Yeah. All right. So 2 from the ACC. The Big 12.
But you're going to have to hope that the number 1 ranked ACC team going into the championship weekend wins that ball game. You cannot pull for an upset.
Yeah.
Can't.
I agree. All right. Big 12. Let me get the standings pulled up here real quick. All right. Big 12 standings. You've technically got 4 teams that can still get in.
Colorado.
But it's really just 2. It is BYU sitting at 9-1 overall, 6-1 in the conference. Colorado 8-2 overall, 6-1 in the conference.
No, it's just the winner of that. The second place team in the Big 12 does not get in. 100%. Big 12, there's only one team getting in, and it's an at-large. I think it's stupid that they get a bye week. It's so stupid to do auto bids. It is dumb to do auto bids because none of those teams are top 5 team in the country, and yet one of them is going to get granted a first week or first round bye. It makes no sense.
Yep. All right. So we agree that. All right. Let me pull up the rest of their
So the
schedule.
Big 12's eliminated. Like they're not taking an at-large bid. We can agree on that.
Yep.
So it's between the ACC
and Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame's.
God, that sucks.
But look, all right, we have got to root for Army this weekend. Army is
100%.
going up against Notre Dame this weekend. Army's got to win that game. Knock Notre Dame out. But also, Notre Dame's going to be going up against USC last game of the season, who they're not great this year, but that always turns out to be a good game. And it's at USC.
Yeah.
We have got to be Army and USC fans for the next 2 weeks to knock Notre Dame out. So, the way I've got it here, the Big Ten champ will get in. The ACC champ will get in, the Big 12, and the SEC. So that's 4 teams.
Yep.
Plus your group of 5 champ, which will more than likely be Boise State. But Army is also in there as well because Army's still undefeated right now. And if they win the AAC, they could get in. The problem with them right now is they're sitting at 24th in the rankings where BYU is up there just outside the top 10.
Yeah.
So that's 5 right there. We said that we're almost positive 3 Big Ten teams will get in at large. So that is 8 total teams. Maybe an ACC. That's 9, which leaves 3 open spots for SEC and Notre Dame.
Yeah. Let's contract this back down to the SEC because now we've kind of determined that the Big 12 is not going to get 2 teams in.
I don't think the ACC gets 2 in.
I don't think the ACC gets 2 teams in either. It's really just between Notre Dame and then that argument on because I don't want to be the 5th ranked SEC team because that puts a lot of pressure. But let's talk about it. And according to the AP, right, Texas at number 3, and then Alabama at 7, Georgia at 8, Ole Miss at 9, Tennessee at 10. Why is Ole Miss, Alabama, and Texas getting so much love? Yeah, I just asked a lot. And y'all can go ahead and say it's Big Orange homerism. I don't care. What win does Texas have? And I'm sorry, Justin, cover your mind. Like, watch something else for just like 10 minutes here. Texas lost at home to Georgia by 15 points, and that game wasn't close. Like, Tennessee lost by 14 on the road, but, like, that game was close. Georgia scored with 2 minutes left to kind of put the game away. Georgia beat Texas by 15 at Georgia. What does Texas have? A good win over Vanderbilt?
You've got a top 10 win against, at the time, Michigan, who is
That's
now
not a good
500 on the season.
You can't say at the time because if that was the case, then we should be getting credit for the NC State win, the Oklahoma win.
Yes.
I mean, like that's not even crossed my mind. And honestly, we should be getting some love for the Florida win because shout out to my guy. Florida had a great win against LSU this weekend. And I hate to pull for Florida, but by God, I was pulling for them. And they did exactly what I thought they would do. But overall, you can't say at the time. So Texas being at number 3 because they're one of the only 2 one-loss. That's Bologna. It's baloney. I don't understand it. But let's not sit here and act like Alabama didn't lose to Vanderbilt. I understand we lost to Arkansas, right? Scratch that out then. Now you got to give it to the head-to-head winner. It's Tennessee.
Yep.
How is Tennessee not above? But the problem is not only, how do I want to say this? Not only is it how you play the week before they choose, because it is seriously, that's really what it's, but it's also when you lose. You could lose to a Northern Illinois if you lose in the first week of the season.
Yep.
And then you could be the number 1 ranked team in the nation if you play a bunch of freaking Northern Illinois. As long as you win out, you're on a 11-game winning streak. They put you number 1. Let's see. Justin even says he's agreed. Dude, I'm not coming at Texas. I'm just trying to figure out how Tennessee's the 5th ranked team in the SEC with their schedule and the resume. Let's see. Chad says this playoff situation feels like the woke government was involved. Give everybody a trophy. That's pretty good. The only thing I can say is the win over Arkansas that y'all lost to. Well, yeah. I mean, that's more of a Tennessee versus Texas. I'm trying to look at it from more of a zoomed out broad scope here. Ole Miss has one of the worst losses, literally the worst loss of all the teams against Kentucky.
But you also have a good home win against Georgia in which you dominated.
Okay. But if we're playing that game, hang on, hold up. But if we're playing that game, because that's a great point. Well, then right now at the time of the AP ranking, Tennessee has a better loss of Arkansas rather than Kentucky because we beat Kentucky. And then as of right now, Tennessee has a win over Bama, which is higher ranked than Georgia.
Yeah.
So how's Ole Miss over Tennessee? They hate us.
Look, it's all going to come down to how the committee views things in the end. We can sit here and say all that we want to, but I mean, our words mean nothing to the committee.
Yeah.
What I will say about Ole Miss is, you mentioned it. It's about what you do at the end.
It is.
And because of that Ole Miss win over Georgia here towards the end of the schedule, I think Ole Miss would get in over Tennessee.
Yeah.
Do I agree with it? Maybe not. But I think the committee would look at that win against Georgia here late in the season, and I think that they would put Ole Miss in over Tennessee.
Yeah. Martin comes in and says, y'all still have to worry about Vandy. Trust me, we know.
Yeah.
I've said it multiple times. Like, it puts a lot of pressure on that game in Nashville. A lot of pressure that shouldn't have had to be there, honestly. Strength of schedule means very little now. It really doesn't. It's all about record. And it's all about how good your losses are, apparently. Not how good your wins are. How good your losses are. Chad says they hate us because they ain't us. 100%. All right, let's wrap up this, man, and let's get on to our pick segment. We got to wrap it up, man.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we move on?
Well, I mean, my closing thoughts, we shouldn't have put it in the committee's hands. You had not just the ability to put Georgia away, you had the chance to put you could have asserted yourself as a top 3 team in the nation, honestly. I think if we would have beat Georgia, that we would have jumped Texas. I seriously think. But with a win over Bama and Georgia, you could have done that, but you didn't. Now you put yourselves in the hands of the committee. You're right now the 5th ranked team in the SEC, and that's not a comfortable place to be in, and we need some chaos to happen. That's my final thoughts.
Yep, I completely agree with you. So we're going to go into our pick segment now, as we do every single week, and that pick segment is sponsored by Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So, Skylar, this week we have got a mix of some pretty good games we've also got some games that are going to be a snooze fest. And
it's that time of the season, man.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit that Tennessee's game is going to be one of those snooze fest.
100%.
For those of you that might be new viewers, we go every week and we predict or we give our SEC predictions for the week. So we go game by game. And if you would like to join along with us and pick in the comments, normally I put the graphics up on the screen and Skylar can pull up your picks as we go along through this. So
make y'all's picks with us. Let's do it, man. It's going to be a fun week.
Yeah, feel free to pick along with us. So starting off the week, it is Ole Miss traveling to Gainesville, facing off against the Gators. Ole Miss, a 9.5-point favorite entering this contest.
Martin, we were not at the game last night, brother. I ended up having a watch party. My wife had to work yesterday, so I couldn't go. Ole Miss, Florida. Florida looked pretty good. Looked pretty good against LSU. I just don't think LSU's a good team. I don't know why people keep thinking that Brian Kelly's a good coach. He's not. And y'all seen it again. I think LSU's lost 3 in a row now. 3 in a row. Does that build some confidence for Florida, though? I mean, Florida does have a chance to get bowl eligible with this. Ole Miss is a strong team. We need this to be a Florida win once again. Like, as a Tennessee fan, we need Florida to win. However, usually what I want to happen doesn't happen, and that's why my FanDuel account's so good, is because I always bet on things that I don't want to happen. That way I'm a winner either way, and I do think Ole Miss gets it done. But hold up. Justin said, give me Florida. Hey, that's sounded like a true Tennessee fan there. I hate to say it like that, but we do need Florida to pull up an upset right here to kind of knock Ole Miss out.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ole Miss came off of a bye week, or they're coming off of a bye week this week. DJ Lagway is back for Florida. They looked good yesterday with him at quarterback, as they have most of the season.
Yeah.
I do think that Florida gets bowl eligible this year, but it won't be because of this game. It'll be because
what game will it be? What game? Yeah. Who predicted that in the preseason? Man, that's crazy. I don't know what that guy was thinking. Whoever predicted that, but it's looking really good right now.
It is now because of how terrible Florida State is. But hey, that's neither here nor there. I'm also going to go with Ole Miss in this game, but I do hope that Florida wins this game. That would really help out.
It hurts. It like tugs the heart when I hear somebody say, I hope Florida wins.
Yeah.
But for this reason, we really do need it to happen. And I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion. It looks like Ole Miss is at the Swamp.
Yep.
I mean,
it could happen.
How is this a noon game, by the way? Hold up. What are the night games?
This game here should be the night game.
Alabama, Oklahoma getting that one. That doesn't even make sense. But yeah, anyways. All right. Yeah.
All right. Next game on the schedule, it is UMass playing their third SEC game of the season, going up against Georgia. This is at 12:45 Eastern on SEC. This is SEC Network. So how this one got on SEC Network, I don't know. I guess Georgia's already had their plus game this year.
Probably. Yeah.
But yeah, UMass against Georgia. Give me Georgia.
Yeah, it's Georgia. Let's just go on to the next one. I think everybody in the comment, I mean, come on. It's not happening. Georgia's going to win.
Yep.
However, I am rooting for UMass just as much as I'm rooting for Florida. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, UMass has a chance to get out of the basement of the SEC this year. So
hey, that's right. Nicole, we understand. It's not easy to, but yeah, Chad said UMass. Come on, Chad. All right.
Oh, I love it.
You're gonna have to show me that FanDuel account where you're picking that money line, dog.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
All right.
Next game on the schedule is the boys going up against UTEP. As you mentioned, this is senior day. This will be on SEC Network Plus for all Tennessee fans. So you will have to have that ESPN Plus subscription to be able to watch this game. It will not be on TV. Tennessee, a 42.5-point favorite in this game.
Can't wait to hear everybody on my Facebook complain that they can't find it on cable or whatever. It's okay. Yeah, Tennessee wins this one pretty easy.
I also think Tennessee wins. I'm gonna say that UTEP covers the spread because we play our backups most of the game.
Yeah, we're definitely. I mean, it's only 42 and a half. Yes, we're covering.
I said that we
Chad even says what I said.
Hey,
Ball shut out, UTEP. That's what we
give
need.
Me all of that.
That's what I want to see.
Give me all of that. But I mean, Tennessee has not covered a spread since NC State. Kent State. I don't trust them to cover a spread.
To be fair,
UTEP.
That's because we've been playing SEC opponents. This is not SEC. Let's cover that spread. Let's go.
Hey, I certainly hope so. But next game, let's see. It is Kentucky going up against Texas. This game is at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Texas, a 20.5-point favorite in the game. I tried putting lines on all of these, but the last few I did not get lines on. I've got them pulled up on FanDuel as we speak, though. Is there any doubt what's going to happen in this game?
I mean, this would be a heck of an upset. Kentucky's just not good. Give me Texas.
Look, I know we need Texas to lose.
I'm rooting for Kentucky.
I am not rooting for Kentucky. So, give me Texas.
Only because Justin's a day one listener. I'm not going to do that to him. I am pulling for Texas.
Yeah. So,
but if they lose, I'm not going to shed a tear. I'm joking.
Yep, completely agree with you. Anyway, Wofford going up against South Carolina. South Carolina fans, if you are listening, this is also an SEC Network Plus game. So you will have to have that subscription to watch. It is at 4 Eastern. Give me South Carolina.
Yeah, same. It's not really even.
And Shane, Kentucky upset. Okay.
Chad's going for all the upsets.
Yeah.
That's a true Vol fan right there, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you, though, he's going to have to show that FanDuel account just to prove that that's who he's picking. So
I want to see it parlay, too. I'm doubling down.
Yeah, just going to double down on it. Horns, but hope Kentucky. Yeah, absolutely, Nicole. I think all of us are saying that. Look, I'm not a big Shane Beamer fan, but Shane Beamer's got something cooking in South Carolina, and I'm glad that we don't have them on the schedule this year. They have got a defensive line that is, overall, they've actually got a better rush rate as far as rushing the passer than Tennessee's does.
Yeah. That defense is pretty nasty.
And Lenore Sellers is really picking things up as the season winds down.
It's crazy, man. We thought Shane Beamer would be fired this year. We didn't think it was just a hot seat. We thought he was going to be canned.
All right,
but man, he's really turned some things around out there.
So real quick, beginning of the season, we said 4 coaches were going to get fired.
And now they all 4 look like
Shane Beamer, Clark Lee, Billy Napier, and Sam Pittman. Florida's already said Billy Napier is going to be back next year.
You know what? Screw that. Next year. Okay, hang on. Because the way they've been able, Billy Napier didn't really flip his program. I was going to say Clark Lee flipped it in a big way. Shane Beamer flipped it in a big way. And Sam Pittman didn't in a big way, but honestly, he's won some games that we never even thought that they'd come close to.
Yep.
Josh Heupel's getting fired next year.
I'm not going that far.
You see where I'm going with this?
I cannot believe that you put that evil on us.
You see what I'm doing, though, here. It's that reverse psychology.
I hear you. Yeah. But I can't believe that as a Vol fan that you put that on us. So, shame on you.
I just want us to win, dude.
I hear you.
Anyways. Yeah, that one got clickbaited. All right, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Oklahoma next year. No, I could actually see Oklahoma's head coach coming to us before Josh Heupel went to Oklahoma.
Heupel's not going back to Oklahoma.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I could see who is it? God dang it, what's his name?
Venables.
Yeah, I could see Venables being our next DC when Tim Banks takes a head coaching job.
Hey,
Venables and Heupel are good buddies.
That's
not a secret. So, all right, next game. Let's go.
All right, Louisiana Tech going up against Arkansas, I believe.
Ah, darn.
Yeah, this is also a SEC Network Plus game. I do believe that Arkansas could become bowl eligible with this win right here because Arkansas will win this game.
Yeah, give me Arkansas.
All right, next game. It is
Nicole and Justin both say Arkansas. Chad says Arkansas.
Arkansas. So this is an interesting game here. Missouri going up against Mississippi State. This is at 4:15 Eastern on SEC Network.
What's interesting about it?
Well, it's interestingly bad. Is what
Well, Mississippi State's going to win the game, so
Mississippi State going to win the game. You know,
Mississippi State's winning the game.
Look, if Mississippi State
If I'm not mistaken, that would be their first conference win.
I was going to say, if Mississippi State is going to win a conference game, it will be this one.
Because they ain't beat no Miss.
But I'm going to go with Missouri in this game. Missouri is a 7.5-point favorite in this one.
They should be healthy, too. Like, I am kind of picking Mississippi State out of spite, but, like, I think Brady Cook's back and healthy because he played last week. Honestly, is it South Carolina they played?
Yeah, South Carolina. And so it took.
All right, Missouri's probably going to win this game. I will, but I want Mississippi State to at least get one conference win. Like,
yeah. Did you see the final offensive play for South Carolina to win the game?
Was it scoop and score?
No, it was that was the week before Oklahoma against
Missouri. That's right.
The South Carolina game yesterday, South Carolina took a page out of Tennessee's book, a little shovel pass to
that's right.
Sanders.
That's right.
Took it up.
That was a crazy comeback win, actually.
It was. That was
because they were down and they scored with like 20 seconds left and they drove it. I mean, well, they were down with like a minute left and drove it down the field. That was a pretty good sequence there. But all right, so everybody thinks Missouri except me. And honestly, I think Missouri will win, but Mississippi State, if they play the way they played against us, I think they could win the game 100%.
Yep, I agree with you. All right. Alabama versus Oklahoma. I will once again, or you said it, but I will repeat here. I don't know how this is the 7:30 game on ABC.
I'll say why. It's because it's at Oklahoma. All right. SEC on the road at night. Kind of putting Alabama in a bad spot here. Oklahoma's defense isn't bad. However, their offense is atrocious. So give me Alabama. I do think this game could be close, though. I really do. It's probably not going to be because I think it will be, but I think it could be close.
FanDuel,
and by close, I mean 14.
Okay, FanDuel does agree with you then. Alabama minus 13.5 is the spread.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, give me Alabama. Alabama is...
Longhorn guy here said just can't pick Oklahoma. As much as we all... Okay. Honestly, though, probably pulling for Oklahoma harder than I'm pulling for any of the other teams.
I completely agree with you. But I do think Alabama gets it done. Jalen Milroe is figuring
Hunter said Bama by a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think they're going for style points because they're going to want to make sure that the committee doesn't have any doubt putting Bama in over any other team. So I could see that. And this team's kind of built for style points with Jalen Milroe, the big names and whatnot. But again, SEC on the road, it ain't a given, guys. I don't care who you're playing. It ain't a gimme.
Yep.
I mean, we seen what Alabama did on the road at Tennessee. Seen what they did on the road at, which was a home game at Vanderbilt. You know, I'm just saying, Oklahoma is not a gimme whatsoever. So if the players think that, watch out, Bama. Next.
All right, next game. It is A&M traveling to Jordan-Hare to play against Auburn. This is at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
All right, so y'all want to hear my winning scenario here?
Okay.
I want Auburn to win this game so bad. Texas, Justin, plug your ears. I then want A&M to beat Texas. That is the best thing that could happen to Tennessee.
I can't say I disagree with you on that.
No, seriously, because I think Texas would still get in. I think Texas would even still get into the championship, the SEC championship game with that scenario. So honestly, Justin, sacrifice it, okay? Sacrifice it. You still get everything you want, and so do we, okay? So I need Auburn to win this game. I then need A&M to beat Texas. All right, so give me A&M. I don't know why. Let's do it. Give me A&M in a big upset.
Does FanDuel know something that we don't?
Is this game a lot closer?
A&M is a 2.5-point favorite against Auburn.
Dang, I was going to backpack this was my upset pick of the week. All right. I don't know. Is somebody banged up at A&M? What I mean,
I'm not sure. That's why I don't
because
know.
Auburn sucks. I mean, they're like Kentucky status. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not sure on this one. So did you pick A&M or Auburn?
I'm picking Auburn. Sorry.
You're picking Auburn.
Yeah, I need Auburn to win and then A&M to beat Texas.
Okay, so you're picking Auburn.
Nicole said Auburn, but think it's A&M. Yeah, that's kind of me, honestly. A&M, but want Auburn to win. Auburn by 7. I see you, Hunter. I see you, big dog. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, A&M.
Oh, look, Justin, Texas fan. He said, okay, Auburn. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I mean, A&M has looked really good this year. And Auburn against teams with a pulse has not. I will say, Auburn fans, I apologize for how bad I dogged y'all last week against ULM because y'all did come out and actually played ball in the game and took care of business against ULM. But I know that the game is in Jordan Hare, but I don't see it being that close. I've got A&M, and I've got A&M by 2 scores.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I need Auburn to win. I need Auburn to win, and then I need A&M to beat Texas. That's.
I mean, I don't disagree with you at all.
Sorry for letting my big orange glasses overshadow this pick here, but I think Auburn's got a chance. I mean, I don't think Auburn's got a chance. They suck. All right, next game.
All right,
if there is a next, last game.
Last game of the day. It is Vanderbilt going to Baton Rouge to play against LSU. This is at 7:45 Eastern on SEC Network.
This is a kind of a good one. This is kind of a good. I'm gonna let the comments speak for me real quick. Listen.
You know what? Let me go first then.
Oh, you're going first. All right, who are we picking?
Give me Vanderbilt.
Nah. I knew you were gonna pick Vanderbilt.
Look, give me Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia coming off a bye week, going down to LSU and getting a win in Death Valley. I don't trust Brian Kelly. So I think the Vanderbilt can go down there and get a win.
Look at y'all. Y'all are all picking Vandy. What are we doing? I was trying to be tough and different. Hunter said Jordan Hare can be a tough place to play, and Auburn plays tough at home. No, they don't. They lost every game at home. LSU, you're right, though. Generically, Hunter, you're absolutely right. Karen, LSU, finally. First LSU pick. What is
LSU? Can you take a guess what the line is in this game?
It is -9. I got it on ESPN.
I was going to say FanDuel has got it at -8.5.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why ESPN does like solid number lines because that kind of makes it a lot harder. So I'm going to be different from you because I got to make up some picks, I believe. I don't know what the standings are. You're going to tell everybody here in a little bit.
We'll
but
find out in a second.
Yeah, you're smiling big, so you must have had a good week. I'll take LSU in this one. If Brian Kelly loses this game, it's a fireable offense. I don't care. I'm sorry. I know he's got like a 9-year, $300 million contract, but like this is insane. I mean, like Nussmeier was like in the Heisman odds after week 7. You've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
LSU would lose 4 in a row, Hunter, if they lose to Vanderbilt, actually. But yes, he's saying Vandy by 10, and I could see it. And boy, would that make me sweat going into the last game of the season. I'm just saying, you know what? Maybe we do want Vandy to feel it because I don't want them to have like a revenge game on us. So I don't know. I like it. Give me LSU.
All right. So before we get the folks' favorite person on, we are going to give our upset picks of the week. Updated standings. We actually both had a good week last week as we both went 6-2. Neither one of us
still down by a lot, dude.
Neither one of us got our upset picks last week, and neither one of us covered.
I didn't cover. Oh boy.
No, Tennessee was 10.5.
You're right. I did take the boys. You're right.
Yeah.
The boys let me down. I should have known.
All right. So do you have your upset pick game for this week?
I do not currently. Actually, I might. Hang on 1 second. I got to see who they're playing real quick. My screen's too big and I can't see it.
All right, so while
No, I don't.
Skylar's
I don't have it. I don't have it. You got it. Go
All
ahead.
right. While Skylar is looking for his, for those that are new viewers, because we got a lot of them tonight, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Please, if you don't mind, like and subscribe to the
Please.
YouTube channel as well as Facebook. It really helps us out a lot. But Skylar and I, with these picks, we have a little competition throughout the year with the game picks, and then we pick an upset pick game each week. It has to be at least a 5-point spread. 5 to 10 point spread is 3 points. If it is a 10 plus spread, it is 5 points, and that is if the underdog wins outright. If your team does cover the spread, as most of Skylar's have done this year, you do get 1 point. So it's basically like getting a normal SEC pick correct. We have a little competition, and we put something on it. Last year was a steak dinner for the other person plus their wife. Last year, Skylar did win. This year, we put a round of golf on it. So that's what's on the line for this year. So, Skylar, do you have your upset pick game?
First off, I would like to call out my boy Chad Morris. Said, I liked and subscribed. Appreciate y'all. Yeah. I don't know why I haven't gotten the notification for that, but thank you so much, Chad. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for subbing. Man, we do this every Sunday. So we appreciate that you stuck and hung out with us all night long. Justin says Army over Notre Dame, calling it. I like that pick. I just don't know how much the spread is, but
it is it's 16.5. Army is a 16.5 point dog.
Oh, you're really gonna like my upset pick. I've got it, by the way, so I'm ready whenever you are.
Yep, go ahead, man.
Oh, you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead with it.
I tell you what, I'm gonna flip a coin. I've got 2 games. I've got 2 games that I really want to pick. I'm gonna flip a coin. I'm actually gonna flip a coin.
What are those 2 games before?
Oh, you want to know? You want to know? Yeah, I'll tell you. The 2 games are Indiana over Ohio State, minus 11.5.
Okay.
I'd really love for that to happen. I'd love for them to try to justify why Ohio State should be in and Tennessee shouldn't if Ohio State were to lose a game at home to Indiana.
Yep.
So this is my little dinner coin. It's like husband's choice, wife's choice. I flip it to see who has to pick dinner. So husband's choice is going to be Indiana over Ohio State. Wife's choice is going to be Virginia over SMU.
Ooh. Okay.
A 10-point spread according to ESPN. And it is the wife's choice. So we're taking Virginia over SMU. Give me all that because it's at Virginia. Virginia's been playing good as of late. We're about to find out what SMU's made out of. So give me that. Virginia over SMU.
All right. So live here on the show.
That's how we do it.
I want to put something out there because you had 2 picks that you're going back and forth on.
I was. Yeah, that was the 2 I was kind of.
Do you want to make this a double upset pick this week?
Oh, dude, you want to do that? We've never done that.
Because look, I've got 2 games that I'm interested in that are different from those.
Tell me about it, dude. If you dude, please tell me Florida over Ole Miss.
No, because that's 9.5, and I'm gonna go with the.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm gonna go with over 10.
Okay, all right, I see you.
Because I've got 2 games, and one of them is actually the one Justin said. I've got Army over Notre Dame. Okay. The other one, give me Minnesota over Penn State plus 11.5 at home.
You know what? Yes, we're doing a double upset pick of the week. You don't even have to flip the coin. I am taking Indiana over Ohio State and Virginia over SMU. And what are your 2? Oh, by the way, and if you pick, like, you get all the points, by the way. Like, we're doing this 100%. So, like, what are your 2 games again?
All right, so my 2 games, it is Army over Notre Dame plus 16.5. And then Minnesota plus 11.5 over Penn State.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know why. Some of the comments are not pulling up. There we go. Vandy beats LSU. Vols beat Vandy. The committee likes us again. We get the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to happen. Sorry, I missed that comment.
And what's the Virginia spread?
Chad, by the way, real quick, the Virginia spread is 10 on ESPN.
10, okay.
Chad said upset pick. Bama gets beat by Oklahoma. Oh boy. We go real quick from talking about 5 SEC teams to like 3. If that were to happen. Let's see. Hunter said Florida over Ole Miss for me. I like that. It's 9.5 point. Yep. You wouldn't get the full 5 points that we do for the bonus. However, I think that's a reasonable expectation. I think Ole Miss beating the absolute, well, they didn't beat the absolute crap out of them, but they did have a great win over Georgia. I think that's an outlier. I don't think they're doing that to every team. They lost to freaking Kentucky, dude. Like, Florida, in my opinion, is way better of a team than Kentucky by miles. I think Florida could absolutely beat Ole Miss. Just got to see if they're up for it.
Yep. So, I've got those written down now. That is a possibility for either one of us to get 10 points this week for upset picks.
Mitch Isles, if I butchered that, I'm so sorry, but has subscribed to the YouTube. Thank you so much. I did get that notification. So, I hate to bring it up, but is Chad lying to us? Did he actually subscribe? I'm joking, Chad. You better not be lying to us.
Well, we found out with YouTube that some people have their privacy settings off, so we can't actually see
That's fair.
Who subs. So
if Kentucky can beat Ole Miss in the Grove, then Florida can beat them in the Swamp. I agree. All right, so double upset pick of the week. All right, we gotta hurry up. We gotta get on to our Rakin with Jake segment. And it's the final segment of the show. I'm so excited for this. Rakin with Jake.
Hey,
y'all ready for it?
Jake's got to get back on track, man.
Jake's going to get pissed off at us because we tell him to get up on 7. He has to wait for 30 minutes until he gets
Hey, we got to make sure everything's clear on his end. But
That's right.
You want to give us our Rakin with Jake sponsor.
Yeah, Rakin with Jake. It's Reed Bryant State Farm. Whether you're looking for auto, home, renters, or life insurance, Reed Bryant provides you with the personalized coverage options that fit your unique requirements. Their team is always available to answer any questions you may have and assist you in finding the perfect insurance solutions. At Reed Bryant State Farm, they understand the importance of safeguarding what matters most to you so you can focus on enjoying the game without worrying about the unexpected events. To reach out to Jake directly, who's about to be on the show, reach out to him at Jake, Jake, at easttninsurance.com or give their office a call at 865-457-1505. Without further ado, it is Jake Arnold with Rakin with Jake. And it's not Jake from State Farm, but he does work there.
Yeah.
Jake, how are we doing?
Not okay.
So is that because of this last week record or because of the Tennessee game or both?
Oh!
2-week stretch. It's the 2-week stretch that's hurt me.
Honestly, you've had a winning record every week except the last 2 weeks, and this has got to be the worst one.
And this is, again, I think this is a great segue into what football is all about, and it's just, guys have to make plays, I'm making plays, but I'm not making as many plays as I need to, and that's on me.
Yeah.
Lost focus, it is what it is. But here's the good news. This week, I think I might try to do a bonus parlay. I think I might throw in a little.
We're feeling frisky. We're feeling like we lost about $50 last week, so we got to make it up. That's what.
How did you know? How did you know?
Because I'm.
Oh no! It was bad. It was bad.
Hey, you want some good news?
Yeah.
I bet against BYU for the first time, and it hit.
That's not good news.
That is great news
because
that is great news. No, I didn't listen to you on that one. I bet Kansas all the way. I bet Kansas all the way.
Jake, I just want you to know I rolled with you because I've been rolling with BYU all season long.
No.
So, I think I'm pretty sure you put me on BYU. I mean, that's the problem.
We did. 100%.
I can't even sit still because it really bothers me how this game went last night. But it's really so funny to me that people cannot comprehend how football goes. Okay. Did y'all hear on the radio or somewhere that they said that Georgia had won 29 straight home games? Okay.
Yeah.
There's something to be said. They say comfort is a slow death. I think that what that means is a team like Georgia has hit the pinnacle, and it's almost like you can't stay there as you come down. And so it is unreal what they have to do day in and day out to stay the standard. They're everybody's Super Bowl. They were at one point looking to do a three-peat, and everybody wants to be that next team. And I think, honestly, watching the Tennessee game, no knock to anything. I thought the refs did a horrendous job.
Not talking about the refs on the show.
I don't care. I will. I'm allowed to.
No, this is actually.
Why am I not allowed to? Officiating? Absolutely. I mean, I'm certified to tell you. I'm probably more qualified than a lot of these referees are because I could read the book. I'm an insurance agent. I know
we could talk about it. It's just it's something we can't control. Like, it is what it is. Like,
you can.
Tennessee still had.
Here, 1 second. Let me read the notable losses from that. There it is. Notable losses. This is Dan Harrelson. I'm just gonna give the works cited here.
Go for it. If you've got ammunition to back it up, you go right ahead. But I just
this is disgusting. This is disgusting, and this just shows you where we're at and how this is such a hard season. And it's nothing. I don't think that it's intentional, but it's a series bias. There's a former Alabama quarterback, David Smith, who was a referee during the last 10 seasons: 2024 at Georgia, 2023 at Missouri, 2022 at South Carolina, which I went back and tried to watch the film on there. I really thought that game was suspicious to me at one point. Like, and we know the debacle that had happened previously, and everybody knows sign stealing. It's hard to steal signs. It's easy to steal defensive signs.
Yeah. Because they visually say, like, on the field, you can see the play calls, whatever they're doing, the defensive backs, whatever they have to do to change coverages, you can absolutely see that live on the field, and you know exactly what they're doing when they do it. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Carson Beck would have learned those audible adjustment play calls that they're doing and then kind of made their play call based off of that? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I mean, that's one potential thing. And I mean, Who knows? He could pick a grain out of the entire bowl of rice,
Yeah, 100%.
My thought is that, when you have a repeat offender, now it's hard. You're going to have guys like me. I mean, heck, if I was a ref and I reffed against Georgia, they would probably call bias on that as well. So let's not overlook this. But the thing is if you take your time to understand what is going on and how strategic this stuff is, you will see that it is no joke how these teams are beating each other day in and day out. And is absolutely, I'm so happy to see that Vegas has their senses and at least has some way to get out of just the numbers based stuff. And Tennessee is a favorable team to make the playoffs. They absolutely are. There's no question on that. And so with that being said, I mean, it goes back to a team like NC State, kind of segue it into what we've gone on. NC State preseason had all of the ability, and I would honestly, I would say at week 1 they were a top 25 team. But NC State at Georgia Tech is a tough one. I mean, and at 9.5, there's kind of this thing where you have attrition hit. I really loved what y'all were talking about on South Carolina and how you talked about, I think it was their defense pass rush efficiency. There's different ways to really try to get what you need to get done on the D-line. And I didn't really see that a lot until this year. Brian Kelly gets knocked a lot. Brian Kelly is a strategist. He is not someone who's a nonsensical coach, if that makes sense. Lane Kiffin is more of, if you think about it, and Lane's, it's funny, I'll talk about that in a little bit, why I took one of my later bets. But if you see it, these guys who are younger and at their height, they're able to just feel a game, feel their players, and go with what they need to do. Georgia Tech's a program historically that has the ability to really resonate with their state, with other people outside, and build a brand that I believe, have built. One thing to remember: this is at Georgia Tech. They are 5-1 at home, and they've only lost to Notre Dame. And I'm sorry, we're going to talk about Notre Dame's one loss to Northern Illinois. It's a terrible, terrible loss. Notre Dame could win the whole thing just because nobody really has seen them, had team against them. I mean,
no, because Army's going to beat them this weekend, so he's going to.
And I like that because that's a prime example. I think that would solve it. And I've never really seen a full game, full 4 quarters of either team of Army or Notre Dame, but I can tell you from what I notice, Army is situated to beat them because there's no way they can see things like that. You don't see what type of execution you get from guys who are just scrappy. Like, that's a different form of ball. And so, that's to me. But NC State, man, they're 5-5 overall. Referencing South Carolina, I think it's showing you, looking at defensive line, it's at a premium. There's a lot of different ways to rush the ball. Georgia Tech can rush the ball. I can guarantee you that. There's a reason why they're able to get around guys like Florida State. Even though Florida State's a bad program, they still have manageable brand. They're still going to have premier guys at some level, especially when we're talking about a down ACC. But NC State, they're 5-5 overall. I mean, they're awful. They have one wide receiver. Actually, they have a tight end who is barely over 500 yards and two that are barely under 400 yards, wide receivers. So their top receivers are tight end. That's awful. I'm sorry. That's just not, you can't be productive that way. And that's the thing that I think is, and they don't have a rusher who's over 405 yards. And I got total yards. So there's some really, really bad issues with their team in general. I'm just looking at more of my notes on here, man. I mean, the big thing to me is Georgia Tech's explosiveness. They're averaging 6.5 yards per play. That's something to me that is an indicator of being able to execute explosive plays. We talk about 2022 Tennessee, referencing that team. That team just had the ability to take it over the top at will. And that goes back to how you're play calling and designing. And so Georgia Tech, they might not be the best team ever. They might not be what you would think is like a absolute barn burner of a game, but I mean, they can really put on points if they just are hitting like they usually are. So that one's a give me.
So 2 notes on this game. One, the line has dropped a full point. It's 8.5. So if you get it now, it's actually more favorable. And 2, I love this pick as long as Haynes King is playing. Haynes King is the difference maker for Georgia Tech. But even then, I still think that Georgia Tech can cover in this game, but Haynes King is definitely the difference maker for Georgia Tech.
Yeah. I don't know, man. They got another, is it not that I could be confusing 2 different teams, but Georgia Tech's that team where another guy will come in just to run the ball, and he's actually thrown the ball a couple times too, and he's not bad.
I've not seen him.
Okay.
I think I know who you're talking about. I can't think what his name is, but he has had to play some this year due to Haynes King's injury, and he is. Yeah,
like Haynes King's had like a throwing injury or something. Somebody's had to come in for him situationally. And I think he's not a bad quarterback either. So, like, honestly, I like this pick. I think they cover very easily. NC State, you've mentioned it. It's not a knock on them. I mean, it just, I think Georgia Tech, and I feel like Georgia Tech's a lot like Florida, maybe a better team than people kind of think, but their record is not showing that.
They're on the wave. They got Georgia next week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to ride the wave. They're 5-1 at home. You're playing at home. You've only lost to a top 10 team in Notre Dame. The only thing you can find on Georgia Tech is their defense is slightly suspect. And I mean, that's to me on the eye test. And, if you look at what NC State's doing, they don't have any production out of explosive plays. There's just nothing there that would lead me to indicate that this should be a game that wouldn't be a 2-possession game win. That being said, I just think Georgia Tech continues to do what they do and they get that one done.
All right,
Texas State. Yeah, what?
I was gonna say, all right, so pick number 1, Georgia Tech minus 8.5. Take them to cover. What's that second one you got?
Texas A&M by like 10, but I mean that's just me giving you a little tidbit out there. Texas A&M minus 2.5, absolutely. It's disgusting. It doesn't matter who is the quarterback for Texas A&M. I don't care who they have out there. Marcel Reed showed you a little bit of what they had, but Connor Wagner, and he's a cat. He's just one of those guys that's probably at the bar right now, just drinking, and he's going to go out on Monday. He's going to do a little sauna. He's going to be fine, and he's going to get the crap beat out of him at Jordan-Hare, but he's still going to complete like 72% and throw for 225 yards. And it's just going to be stupid because they're going to have a run game.
So is there anything that we're missing with this one, with A&M being a 2.5-point favorite? I mean, because I would have set this line at least 6.5.
I would have set it at like 13.
Oh, wow.
This is a classic.
12.5. Yeah.
This is a classic win-win bet for me because I can bet this, and if it happens, boom, I win money. And if it doesn't happen, Auburn probably wins with the line being at 2.5. And I'm also really happy if Auburn wins. This is a classic win-win bet. Exactly. This is a classic win-win bet. I love it, actually, because this is probably a bet that I wouldn't make otherwise, but I will for you.
I think the argument for not doing the minus 10 is that Jarquez Hunter is a 1,000-yard rusher. But
Texas A&M has got a stellar defense.
But they don't have that great of a defensive line because they all transferred out. You know what I mean?
Like
they're not. It's not that they're not.
And that's why Ole Miss's defense is so good. I mean, you got Walter Nolan that, arguably was between Tennessee and A&M, went to A&M and then transferred out because everything that happened there.
Look at what we're doing with Josephs. and then look at what you're doing with guys like Amari Norman-Law, and then there's just different sizes. I mean, you can have a true 5 technique. You can play. You've got guys who are wide 9s. Who, I mean, heck, at one point it felt like we had Aaron Beasley playing a defensive end type of position in a 3-4. Yeah. I mean, so if you think about it, there's just a lot of different ways that we try to attack the pass. And that goes back to, like I said, it's premium for defensive line. If you look at even our social media, they're pushing defense so much because they understand how hard it is to get somebody who's good reactionary, not just proactivity. Because just being productive and doing the execution part of things on offense is good. And you can make a lot of money doing it. But where the professionals get is such a high different level of ball, the mentality is greater. So that comes into play with hand technique, pass footwork, explosiveness, twitchiness. Do I have a guy who's an anchor who can just set a gap and allow a guy to kind of twist? There's just a lot of weird things that guys can think of and get creative and talk about in a table and just put out there. I think that could be the only thing is Auburn, with their coach. I think that's the only thing that they could be thinking is they're looking for a signature win. But I just don't comprehend how, with Auburn having Alabama next week, that they're in any way, shape, or form prepared to take on the task of what Elko does on the run. There's just no way. He's a genius, man. I really like what he does. So, again, that one's an easy 2.5 for me. I get it because both these teams might want to run the ball a lot. So a lot of clock drainage, and, that is what it is.
Right on.
All right, your next one.
Man, this one, I started to go back to my roots, really looking and identifying for good defenses. So I thought, Indiana, Ohio State, this is the craziest thing. This game is going to be so fun, in my opinion. It's the equivalent of me to the Big Ten's, which is a little bit weird, but it's the Big Ten's 2022 Alabama-Tennessee game, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that there's a lot of just back and forth, but it's not necessarily the scoring that's the point that you're looking at, but you're looking at the fact that both these teams are toe-to-toe. They're going to be toe-to-toe both times. The game plan going into this is almost like it's the inverse of what the Tennessee-Alabama game was in 2022. So to me, if I look at these teams, Indiana has allowed the 5th fewest first downs in the country. That is insane. That means that they're keeping it in front of them, which means clock is rolling. Okay, it's that easy. And then if you look, they're still top 20 in passing yards allowed. They're only at 183.3 according to NCAA. And then Ohio State, I mean, they've allowed the fewest first downs in the country. And so if you're looking at this team on paper and you're trying to think about where am I going to go to get a win and get out of this, and it's being at Ohio State, Indiana already knows what they need to do. Indiana has to be able to establish a first down game plan that's going to get them in front of the chains. Ohio State has a plethora of defensive linemen, so they're going to have to get creative. That just means that you're going to have to keep it where it's a longer clock, less plays, dumb it down, identify weaknesses, and just hope that you can win one-on-one matchups and keep momentum. So to me, that under 52.5 with two stout defenses that are playing really good pass coverage, that's a no-brainer. So that's why I pulled the trigger on that.
Right on. And what's that fourth take?
Man, this one just is another identity ball kind of game where if you look at it, it's North Carolina -1.5 at Boston College. North Carolina, I mean, if you look at what they've done with Mac Brown, they're looking to build onto the brand of football that they have. You see a team like North Carolina State that's in the same state as them that's having to compete. And you know that you have to do some pretty special things in order to sustain in my opinion, a dissolved conference. And so when you see things like that, you have to see on paper what kind of guys do they have. And I looked at North Carolina's stats. I've watched them. I know that they have the ability to play just complementary football. I know they've got a really, really, really good running back. I actually looked it up. Their running back has 1,422 rushing yards. He is just, dude, he's carrying their offense. He is just going. They're just like, I mean, I'm sorry. And the thing is it would be okay. I probably wouldn't have taken this pick if it was -3.5.
Right.
Because Boston College, they're 5-5. But the thing is they just choke you to death. They're sitting here and they've got wins against Western Kentucky, Dunsky. I don't even know this school. Where's that? Duquesne. Yeah, it's probably a smart person school. That's why I don't know it. Okay. But Syracuse, they're beating the smart guys. They're in Boston. They're getting scrappy. They're hanging on by a thread. Michigan State and Florida State. There you go.
They do have what's his name? Came from the NFL. He's their head coach now.
I don't really know who their head coach is.
Bill O'Brien. That's their coach now. Boston College head coach.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that because that was a big storyline in the very first week when they beat Florida State. They were like, wow, Bill O'Brien.
Switch.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, wow, Bill O'Brien came in and already beat Florida State. And then they realized that Florida State was just really bad. No, I forgot about all that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing. North Carolina's got 2 receivers. They're both complimentary receivers. They got one that's averaging like 18 yards a carry, one that's averaging 16 yards a carry, but they're getting it done. I mean, they're just getting it done. They've got 3 pieces that you need. You got the rush established. You've got, some pretty single-handed football. As long as you've got better guys than what I think they have at Boston College, which I just cannot fathom trying to sell it. That's like trying to sell a used car lot. Like that to me is what Boston College is. I don't think of anything notable that has come out of there in terms of major awards or people, or they have not been promoted. I think the lack of promotion tells you. I'm kind of cold on Boston College. I don't know why, but I just really hate Boston College for some reason, for no reason whatsoever. So how do you say it? Dunsky?
Duquesne.
Dune,
Where are you
like
getting
the
that?
movie?
Yeah, Duquesne.
Cool. They're awful.
That's fair. All right. What's your last pick?
Old Miss at Florida. Another under, dude. I mean, my gosh.
You think it's going to be an under? I don't know.
Yeah.
You think this is going to be an under?
Oh, yeah. Lane is getting old.
Don't
he's getting grumpy, dude.
Don't get drunk. Don't get drunk on holding Georgia to 10 points because they ain't been able to do that to any team.
Here's the deal. I have not had a sip of alcohol today, and I'm glad to say that. Could not say that last week. Just wanted to clarify that.
So that's why you went 1-4 last week. Okay.
Absolutely. Was a little stressed off the Georgia game. So, started to look at some things big picture and didn't like it. Dude, Florida's good. Florida is a good team and dynamic with Lagway. And Lagway is like the inverse of Nico, but with the same type of talent, ability, like talent level. Like they can kind of both be good in their own way. DJ's a lot more in your face. He can step up and make things happen that makes you really want to avoid him coming in through the A gap. He's big enough to just take a hit and then leave some really, really big pockets. It's really hard to blitz against him. That's kind of what I think you saw against Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker had a little bit more of an ability to escape it because he had a little bit more meat on him. And also he was like, 30 years old compared to Nico, who's like 14. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where
and Hooker came from a Virginia Tech offense where he ran a lot. So he was already looking to run. He was already looking to run more so the pass. I think Josh Heupel actually did a great job with Hooker teaching him to throw it when it's there, but if it's not, don't even think about it. Just take off, So, but that's where I think Hooker just had that, instinct or that ability to just take off and run. Because honestly, that was more natural for him to do so.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that just pisses me off even more about the ref from last night because how in the hell was that pass interference? Pardon my French, but was it on Squirrel or how is it not pass interference?
I was going to say, how's it not? Yeah, I know exactly where.
Are you effing kidding me? Are you actually kidding
No.
Me
You want to know what makes me more mad? No, because I'm not talking about refs here. Okay, not on the show. You want to know what makes me more mad about that play? Is listening to Curb Hurtstreet say, "Look at that perfect timing on that defensive back." I'm sorry, what? And he even hesitates when he said it. Like he knows he was wrong, but he's like, I can't not say it now because it wasn't a penalty. So yeah, that was just really good timing there by the defensive back. I'm just like, dude, shut up. Like that, that was bullcrap. Like that ticked me off even more than the non-call. But I'm not talking about refs here. All right, we got to control what we can control, and we can't control Curb Hurtstreet just being stupid, bro. Like I don't understand it. Even Reese was like, or not Reese. Chris Fowler was just like, like you can hear him be like, yeah, whatever. Just roll with it because obviously you can't look bad on TV. But yeah, it was bad.
You can look bad on TV. Any publicity nowadays is good publicity. Is the way I see it.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about a little bonus parlay before we hit the hotline. What do you got there?
I'm going 5-0.
We're parlaying all these together.
We're
Okay.
parlaying all 5, and to make it the.
We're not recommending that.
There's a reason why this hotline is on the screen right here. Okay.
The only stipulation is, and I haven't done the numbers on it, but take out the North Carolina State Georgia Tech -9.5 and put that to Georgia Tech money line and see what it gets you.
All right, so
I haven't even looked at the numbers. I was trying to figure out
so it
value.
It was plus 22.5 when it was the spread. Let me look here. Take it to money line. Plus 1,500.
What does $5 get me there?
1,500, 150, right? $5 will get you.
See, all right. So a $10 bet there gets you 153. So I mean, I guess subtract
79.
or put it in half. So yeah, about 79.
So it's still a terrible value, is what I'm hearing.
So
is it?
So
there's one more. There's one more. We got to take out that NC State one. I don't like 10 points. I don't love 10 points if I need a must-win parlay. I love all of my other bets. Like, love them.
I love how we talk about referees for like 2 seconds, and I didn't even talk about referees. I talked about the commentators, and everybody's in the comments just.
I mean, okay.
Everybody's in the comments eat me up, and I'm like, no, I didn't say anything about referees.
As I'm looking for this other pick, that is definitely going to give y'all some value. To go back on last night, I really think that where we went wrong is we just couldn't get off the field. We just couldn't get off the field. Like, and
our offense would drive 50 yards, but 50 yards from our 10 to their 40 and then have to punt. Like that was frustrating. We would have 11 play, 12 play. I was telling Michael this in the first segment. We'd have 13 play drive and then have to punt. That is the most frustrating. Georgia did a great job taking away our deep play, our big plays, our explosive plays. And that's where our most explosive play was Dylan Sampson's run for a touchdown. And I mean, how unlike that. I mean, usually Nico's good for 1 or 2 deep balls. He does overthrow a couple, but he at least is good for 1 or 2 a game where they do connect, and they just didn't against Georgia, and that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, what about Wake Forest plus 23.5 against Miami?
I'm not touching that.
I was going to say that's an iffy one because Miami will win that game, but Wake Forest could very well cover there.
Oh, Illinois money line at Rutgers.
What time is that game?
Well,
never mind.
7 o'clock.
You said Illinois money line against Rutgers. Okay.
Yeah, I even threw in a little bit more in there, right? Or was the 1.5? Yeah.
So we're still taking off the Georgia Tech?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And that gives you the same odds as.
That's the 5 to win. What, 125?
Let's see. Yeah, pretty much.
Skylar keeps laughing.
A $10 bet gets 226. So
all these comments are just crazy about me and the referees, and I'm like, I haven't even talked about it. Like, what are we doing?
I wish I could read the refs.
Oh my god, I love.
You know what? You know what? If you want a little extra value with that, then just sprinkle in that Georgia Tech money line with the Illinois money line. Okay.
What are we trying to do? Are we trying to get to are we trying to turn $5 into like 500? What's the goal here?
I always like any thought that I can comfortably 5 times my money, and it takes no more than $2.
Okay, you realize 5 times your money. The original bet would have been 6 times. No, more than that. You would have had 5 into 70 easily.
So all I did is I said that I'm probably 2 units confident in all of these bets.
You would have 15 times your money. 5 to 25 is 5 times your money.
Aren't we excited?
So,
can't wait.
I know, but I don't understand your reasoning there versus what you're doing, because you were acting like $78 wasn't enough. So I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, if you don't think 78 is enough, just bet $10. Look, bet responsibly. We want to remind you guys to make sure to only bet what you can afford to lose. If you're having a problem with that, or if you feel like you may be having an addiction, can't pay the bills for whatever reason, probably gambling reason, you can be sure to call the hotline at 1-800-889-9789 or call 1-800-GAMBLER. So definitely don't want anybody going into debt, losing their house, can't feed the kids, whatever, over some gambling. This is just meant to be fun, to kind of give you guys, like for me, I use it. to watch a game that I otherwise wouldn't, right? Like we're betting on Big 10 games, Big 12 games, games that I honestly would not watch unless it's a top 10 matchup or something. But not when I have, a couple bucks on the game. By God, if I can turn 2 into 4, yeah, sure. I might watch it just a little bit just to make sure. But if y'all cannot, if you feel like you're not doing that responsibly, please reach out to that hotline and don't be ashamed of it. Get right, get fixed up. And then who knows, maybe you'll be in the position to where you can kind of get back into it, but do it a little bit safely and more responsible. So.
Yep, absolutely. So, Jake, we're hoping for a bounce back week this week, and we appreciate you coming back on, man.
Thank you, Jake. Absolutely. We appreciate you, brother. Go Vols, and I guess we just gotta win
in there.
Just gotta win.
We're fine. Just win and you're in.
Just win. Just win and you're in.
Yep.
What's so different than Georgia having 2 losses and us having 2 losses, or Bama having 2 losses, or Ole Miss having 2 losses, or dare I say Texas is gonna have?
Or there's just a billion teams out there, man. I mean,
I know. It's all good. The sun still rose. Like we're good. Yeah. We're chilling.
Yep.
Oh well, after we get off here, I will cry in my closet.
Well, it is nice to know that you're in the closet, so that's okay.
Good talking.
All right. On that note, all right. We'll see you next week, Jake. That is Rakin with Jake.
And we're canceled, dude.
But no, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. As we still right now have 7 total viewers, and that is across Facebook.
That's 2 hours in, man.
And
that's
Twitter.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we're 2 hours in. Not to mention all the people on your TikTok over there as well. Shout out to them as well.
It's a bunch of other fans, not Tennessee fans.
Yeah, but Skylar, any last thoughts before we go through our week this week?
Just get right, get healthy. A little banged up. That's expected going on the road in Athens at night. I think that game actually probably did more good for us than bad. Obviously, we'd love to win, but we got some much needed experience for some of our younger guys, including our quarterback. A guy that still is a redshirt freshman going into that environment, really handled his. I mean, he's very poised, didn't make a ton of mistakes. Obviously, he fumbled there at the end of the game in desperate situation, but overall, really felt like he controlled the offense in a loud environment very well, handled it very well. So all in all, just kind of wish our coaches would have done a little bit more to kind of put our guys in some good positions, but got to control what you got to control. That's winning out. Don't let Vandy bite you, because that's a most Tennessee thing that could happen at this point. Keep yourself in the conversation and pounce when another team chokes their opportunity, which I do feel like is going to happen. So we just need to be there ready for it.
Yep, absolutely, man. Take care of the business that you can take care of and watch the other dominoes fall. So, guys, have a great week this week. And as always, go Big Orange.
Go Vols.